Hi, I'm Alice and I'm here to make maths easier for you. Today we are on part 5 of my series of videos, which is going to teach you all about how to solve equations. And today we're on the third part of the series of how to solve equations with letters on both sides. They look like this. Hopefully you've seen videos 1 and 2. The slight change we have today is that the letters are subtracted. That's the only difference. So it would help you today if you've already watched the previous videos in this series. There's a card up here with the full playlist. And you will find it easier today if you know how to add a number onto a negative number. For example, -4 adds 6. If you're not sure about adding onto negative numbers, don't worry, because I will be here with you every step of the way. Now, this isn't a quick how-to video today. This is a full maths lesson that you can use to improve your skills, like I'm your tutor. So I'll be showing you how to do the method. I'll be giving you the opportunity to practice that method yourself. So get a pen and paper if you haven't already got one. I'll be encouraging you to work at your own pace. So if I'm going a bit slow, you can always skip ahead a few seconds. Or if you're finding that it's a bit too much and you need to slow down, just pause the video. Same with joining in. If you're ready to join in before I invite you to, just make a start. If you're not ready to try it on your own when I give you the opportunity, then just keep on working along with me, or just try a couple of steps on your own. This is your learning. Do it at your pace. And please remember that mistakes are part of the process. It's okay to not be sure what to do. It's okay to make mistakes. It doesn't always feel okay. It feels uncomfortable, but nothing bad is really happening. Time for our daily psychology tip. This video is for people who experience maths anxiety. So alongside teaching you some key maths methods, we'll also be looking at ways to reduce that anxiety. A quick reminder about our topic for this series of videos, which is spaced practice, which we have already started learning about in the previous videos on equations with letters on both sides. Doing maths is like building muscles, learning a musical instrument, drawing, painting, or even a set of dance steps or gymnastics moves. To keep that particular skill, you will need to practice often. Forgetting is not your fault, it's just a normal part of the learning process. It's much better to do a small amount of the mathematical method several times with a day or two in between, not to cram in loads at once over a big cramming session. Then after a month or two, you'll need to practice that same skill again. That's why I'm making 4 short videos about this topic instead of 1 long one. And I've also got extra practice exercises in the description for you. And you can come back and revisit these videos anytime you need a top up. Okay, time for the maths. I will be taking these at a slightly quicker pace today because we've done a few exercises already on equations in the previous videos in this series. However, I must stress to you, if you're not ready for that increase in pace, just give it a pause every now and again and give your brain time to catch up. I don't know your working speed, okay, only you do. So what have we got here? It's almost the same as what we've been looking at so far. Look. We've got a number of letters, 4 lots of n, add a number 6 is equal to, meaning these two things are the same as each other, 54 take away 2n, right? This is the bit that's different, look. It's the take away 2n. In the past, all of our terms with letters in them have been positive. Last time we did look at some subtraction of numbers, and you will find that this is a very similar method. You also might notice, if you've been following me so far, that my steps are always the same, because for this particular style of equation, my 3 steps plus 2 optional tips will always work. It's just a matter of using them flexibly. Anyway, let's have a look. So step 1, eliminate the smaller amount of letters, giving us a 2-step equation. The smaller amount of letters in this case is -2n. And we need to think about that not as 2n with a minus, but as -2 times n. We eliminate by doing the inverse or the opposite, and we must always do it to both sides. So we eliminate the -2n by adding 2n to both sides. Of course, doing the same to both sides is very important because the equal sign won't work anymore if you don't keep them balanced and keep them the same. There it is, look. 4n plus 2n is 6n. We didn't do anything with the numbers on their own, so that's 6 and the 54 just in the same place. And now we have a two-step equation, which you're hopefully quite confident with by now. Maybe you'd like to pause it and try and solve this bit. First, we eliminate the add 6 by subtracting 6 from both sides, leaving us with 6 times my number n is 48. Next step, divide by 6, and that leaves us with 1n equals 8, and there we have solved it. Let's just remember about how to check our answer. So we think that n is 8. Let's see if we're correct. So 4n would be 4 times 8, which is 32. 32 add 6. The answer is 38. I'll just write it up there to help us remember, so we don't have to keep it in our head. Then I've got 54, take away 2 times n, which is 2 8s, which is 16. Are they equal? 54 take away 16 is in fact 38. So yes, the two sides balance, and we know we are correct. N equals 8. Okay, we're going to go straight on to another one now. Are you ready to give it a try yourself? Or maybe you'll do a couple of steps yourself, or maybe you're still working along with me. Let's have a look at this one. Slight difference here, look, both of them are subtracted. Now this is a little bit sneaky because when we identify the smaller amount of letters, the question is, which is the smallest? When they were positive numbers, the smallest would have been this one, take away p, wouldn't it? Because there's only one of them to take away. Whereas on the other side, there's 3 of them. However, the smaller number is actually minus 3p, because minus 3 is a smaller number than minus 1. If you think about it with temperature, minus 3 is a colder temperature than minus 1. If you're not sure about your negative numbers, then have a go at those separately, but don't worry too much about them today. So anyway, the smaller amount of letters is minus 3. So we add that onto both sides. Remember, add is the opposite of subtract. So then this leaves us with 22. That doesn't change because we were working with the letters. Right, minus 1 add 3 is positive 2. So that's changed to 22 plus 2p equals 30. Next step. Now, I should say people can get a bit confused if they see that the letters are the wrong way around with the numbers than what we're used to, because the normal way to see it is with the letter, then the number equals something, isn't it? Don't worry, it really doesn't matter. It's just the same. So we've got 22. We need to subtract the 22. This is the step 2, eliminate the number. And this will leave us with 2p equals 8. Now, remember, if there's everything else eliminated and you're left with one term there, then the plus doesn't stay with that number. If it's a minus, it does stay with the number. If it's a plus, it doesn't, because a positive number is a positive number. You don't need a plus next to it. A negative number, we know it's negative because it has a minus next to it. Just a reminder. And so we've got 2p equals 8. Divide by 2, p equals 4. I won't check it this time for the sake of being a bit quicker, but if you want to pause and check it, you're very welcome to do so. Here we go. This is where I strongly suggest you, if you haven't already tried to practice yourself, that you give it a go right now. If you're not 100% confident, maybe just try anyway, you know. It's good to sort of challenge yourself to take risks in maths. Really, what risk are you taking? It might feel uncomfortable if you don't get it right or you get a bit confused or stuck, but not much bad has really happened, has it? You just feel not great and you might have to do it again. So you might notice I've made a slight change to this time. I've got minus 3q plus 50. Now, that's fine. That's just the same as 50 take away 3q. It's like saying minus 3 times this number. Doesn't really matter which way round any of the terms are, as long as we've got our letters and numbers on both sides, then it's the same kind of equation. Are you ready to try it yourself? Pause it if you are, or perhaps if this first bit is confusing you a bit, you'll pause it after I've helped you with this first step. Right, let's solve it. Minus 3 is a smaller number than positive 2. 3 we know is bigger than 2, but if you had minus £3 in your bank account, you'd have less money than if you had positive £2 in your bank account. Think of it that way. So we add 3q, and then we have 50 equals 5q minus 5. What do you think we do next? Have a think about it. Well, I like to swap them because I think it looks a bit weird when it's that way around. I think it helps us to know what we're doing and to remember our method if we make it look like a normal two-step equation. And then we'll be removing the minus 5 by adding it to both sides. And we have 5q equals 55. Do you remember the next step? Have you done it already? Divide by 5, leaving us with q equals 11. And we've solved it. Check if you want, but I'll be going on to practice exercise 2. And we have our last practice exercise of the day. Have a look at it. Which is the smaller amount of letters this time, do you think? Remember, a minus number is always smaller than a positive number. Are you going to try this all yourself, or are you going to do the first step with me? Why don't you try it all yourself? Being wrong or making a mistake or getting a bit confused, it's not really a very big deal, is it? It feels very unpleasant. It feels uncomfortable. We don't like it, but nothing bad really happens. And the more that you sort of get used to being in that space where you're not sure what to do or you are taking a risk, the more you might find that you can tolerate it and find that you can get past it and carry on doing your maths. Or stop and check what to do. It's up to you. Anyway, let's make a start with this one. So the smaller amount of letters is minus 5r, because that's smaller than plus 3r. We will add 5r onto both sides, and that gives us 20 plus 8r equals 44. Now remember, it doesn't matter which way round those two are, that means the same as 8r plus 20. So we now have our familiar two-step equation. We eliminate the number on the side which has letters, take away 20 because it's a positive number, so we do the opposite, subtract, leaving us with 8r is equal to 64. So if 8 of my number is 64, I divide by 8 on both sides to find out what is 1 of my number, and we can see 1r equals 8, and we have solved it. Well done. If you would like more practice on what we've done so far, look out for my next video. I'll come back and put a card when I made the video, and also check the description for worksheets which can give you extra practice. Well done. We have just one more left in this series, where we are going to be looking at some slightly different looking equations which actually follow the same steps, plus extra practice of everything we've looked at today, plus in the last 2 videos, because spaced practice is the best way to learn. You have your worksheets down there. You also have more videos of mine to help you. And if your anxiety is affecting you more than when you're just doing maths, and you need some help with that, please remember there are lots of people who can help you, whether or not you have money to pay for it. And I've put some links for some free mental health support services in the description for the UK and the rest of the world. Thank you so much for getting all the way to the end. And perhaps you would like to like or subscribe, maybe both, maybe write a comment, share this if you think someone else could be helped by this video. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.